Hey guys, this is Abhishek Singh and we are doing revision summary of electromagnetic field theory. And this is the part 8 of this series. And in this series, we are going to discuss conductors and their properties and some previous year questions and basic concepts behind solving those questions. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I would like to start with the properties of conductors and I will explain each of these properties. So the first property in front of you is electric field is zero inside the conductor. Electric field is zero inside the conductor. Why electric field is zero inside the conductor is explained or is mentioned in the second property. So let us discuss the second property first, then we will go to the first property. So the second property is saying charge density rho is zero inside the conductor. So basically आप कंडक्टर को जब चार्ज देते हैं, when you give charge to conductor, that charge wants to reside on the surface of that conductor. It won't stay inside the conductor. So rho, which is volume charge density of inside the conductor, would become zero. Okay, so the whole charge will reside on the surface of the conductor, and this is because that the charge wants to maximize its separation from each other because of the repulsion between the same charges. And as we have now convinced that the charge density rho is inside the conductor, now I can explain the first point. Charge is not present inside the conductor, then when you apply the Gauss law inside a conductor, then you will get electric field is also zero, because electric field will only be present if there is any charge inside the conductor. So electric field is also zero inside the conductor, charge density is zero inside the conductor, and the third point is any net charge resides on the surface. As I have already told that the charge wants to maximize its separation from each other. That is only possible when the charge can reside on the surface of the conductor. So it is also done. The fourth point is inside conductor potential is constant. Fourth point is the consequence of first point. How? Let me write this. We know that potential at B minus potential at A is minus integral from A to B E dot dl. E dot dl. Okay, so the first point says electric field is zero inside the conductor. If you put electric field zero, then you will get the whole integration as zero, which says VB must be equal to VA. Then only the difference is zero. Okay, so potential at any 2 point A and B are same inside the conductor. So we can say inside the conductor potential is constant, or equivalently you can say the potential surface is equipotential. Okay, so fourth point is also done. Now the fifth point, which says electric field is perpendicular to the surface pointing outwards. If it is the surface of a conductor, then electric field at each point would be perpendicular to the surface. It should be 90 degree. Here also it should be perpendicular. This angle should be again 90 degree. Okay, and it should be pointing outwards. If the charge is positive on the conductor. So we have covered all the points. You guys have to remember these all 5 points. Now moving forward, I have drawn an arbitrary surface of a conductor. This is a conductor with the non-uniform surface. So if I put a charge Q on this surface, then this charge will redistribute itself on the surface of the conductor only, not inside, and it will distribute non-uniformly because the surface is itself non-uniform. And how would it distribute itself? I will explain to you guys. You can see this whole surface, this surface has some radius. Let's say it is cut out from a sphere like this, then this sphere must have a radius r. So this surface have a radius r. So for these surface, the sigma should be constant, and constant sigma is denoted by plus charge with equal separations, equal distance or equal separation. This shows the sigma is uniform for this part of this conductor. And for the remaining part, you can see this remaining part, the radius of curvature is different from the second half of the part. So here the sigma should be different from that part. Here the radius of curvature is very small. You can see this part is very small radius. So here we have most of the charge accumulated. Let me erase this plus sign. So here you have most dense charge density. Sigma is maximum here. Because the radius of curvature of that part is 0. Okay, so charge will redistribute itself such that it has a maximum magnitude at that point where the radius of curvature is minimum. Okay, so इस तरीके से आप लोग ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं सिग्मा को. Okay, so let us move to a advanced condition. In this condition, we again have a we again have a conductor. This is a conductor, and in this case we have a cavity inside the conductor. This white region is a cavity inside the conductor. Cavity means you have nothing, that is just a hollow part. Okay, so let us assume I somehow put a positive charge plus q at the center of this cavity. There is a plus q positive charge at the center of the cavity. Then how should this conductor behave is our point of study. Okay, so I will use all the properties which I have told you in the first slide. Then we will use those properties to explain how the charge will be distributed in this conductor. Okay. So first of all, you guys tell me that this is the interior of the conductor. So if I will draw a Gaussian surface in this interior part, covering this interior part of the conductor, this is a Gaussian surface. Okay. So as I already told that electric field should be 0 inside the conductor, so this Gaussian surface must have a net 0 charge, because you know electric field E dot dA should be equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. As I am saying, the electric field is 0 inside the conductor, so this term should be 0. It is saying that Q enclosed must be equal to 0 to make this 0. Okay, but we can see we have a plus Q charge here. This is not 0. So to make the net Q 0, a negative Q is accumulated inside the interior of the cavity or the conductor. This charge should be equal to minus of Q. Okay, minus of Q. So that this total charge minus Q and plus Q would become equal to 0. Okay, so we can write 0 is equal to minus Q plus Q. Now Q enclosed for this Gaussian surface is 0. So all the assumptions were right, all the properties are satisfied as of now. But initially this conductor was neutral, and we have shifted minus Q in the interior of the surface, interior of the cavity. So to make the total conductor neutral, a positive Q must go outside the conductor. So here you will get a positive charge on the surface of the conductor, because initially the cavity was neutral. Okay, so this is called induced charges. Okay, here again you can say this should be very dense, because here the radius of curvature is very low. Okay, so this should be the case, and this is also plus q. This charge must be equal to plus q, as minus q is inside the surface and plus q is outside. So total charge initially on the conductor was 0, and finally it is also 0. Okay, and these two charges, this minus q inside the interior, minus q, and this plus q which is outside the conductor, these are called induced charges. Okay, so from now on we can directly by analysis put the induced charges without drawing Gaussian surfaces. Okay, so moving forward, we have a question. Okay, so in this question, this is a thick sphere. By thick sphere, what I mean, it is actually a sphere with concentric cavity. There is a cavity which is concentric to the sphere, or we can also call it a thick sphere. Okay, so let me draw the radii. Inner cavity is of radius a, and the total sphere is of radius b. Okay, so we have different cases and we have to answer these questions. Question is, what are the sigma of this inner part? Let's say it is sigma a of inner part, and this is sigma b of outer part. Sigma are surface charge densities. So let us solve the first case. First case says plus q is given on the outer shell. Okay, so for the first case, I will use another marker. First case, you will give plus q charge on the outer of the surface, outer shell or out of the surface. So this charge will equally redistribute itself. I'm not drawing the complete distribution, but you can assume that plus q is equally distributed on the outer surface. So, but this plus q won't go inside because it cannot travel through the conductor. Okay, so sigma A would be 0 as there is no charge inside, but sigma B is nothing but plus q divided by 4. Okay, 4. So let me erase this first. Plus q divided by 4 pi r square, but r for outer sphere is b, 4 pi b square. Okay, let us now solve the second case. For second case, I will erase this. Okay, so second case we will solve by a different marker, and second case says plus q at the center. Okay, so now I am putting plus q charge at the center, plus q at the center. Now you know by induction a minus q charge will induce in the interior of the cavity, minus q charge, and to neutralize the conductor, a plus q charge will induce on the outer surface. Okay, I'm not drawing the complete plus q charges, but you can assume it uniformly distributed, as this is a spherical system which is completely symmetrical. Okay, so sigma A would become equal to minus q divided by 4 pi a square, a is the radius, and sigma B would become equal to plus q divided by 4 pi b square, Now moving to the case third. Okay. So for case third also I will erase this first. And third case says that plus q at the center and minus q to the shell. So let us distribute minus q to the shell. This is something like that, and plus q at the center, plus q at the center. This plus q will induce a minus q on the interior, and as the minus q is taken inside the interior, a plus q should be on the outside. Okay, so a plus q will go outside, plus q. Okay, now initially we had put a minus q explicitly on the outside of the conductor, the shell, but now a plus q is present on the outside of the conductor due to induction. So overall there is no charge, zero charge on the outside of the conductor. So you can write your sigma A would become equal to minus q over 4 pi a square, and sigma B would become equal to 0, as the charge on the outer surface will become equal to 0. Now solving the, okay, so this is all the cases. I think now you can solve any type of question related to this. Okay, so let us solve a previous year question. This question was asked in JAM 2019, and what the question says: out of the following statements, choose the correct option about a perfect conductor. Okay, so let us see the options, and I have already taught you the properties of conductor, so I think you can all now solve this question. Okay, and this question have been asked in uh, IIT JAM 2019, so properties are very important. The first property is the conductor has an equipotential surface. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. Inside the conductor, electric field is zero, so its surface would be equipotential. Okay, so first option is true. Net charge, if any, reside on the surface of the conductor. Rho, which is volume charge density, is zero, so the total charge would reside on the surface of the conductor. B is also correct. Third option is electric field cannot exist inside the conductor. This we all know, electric field cannot exist inside the conductor. Fourth option is just outside the conductor, the electric field is always perpendicular to the surface. This I already taught you. This option is also correct. So all the options in this question were correct in JAM 2019. So the answer would be A, B, C and D. A, B, C and D. It was a question asked in MSQ and it had 2 marks of weightage. So it is very important. Remember the properties to apply in the questions and to solve this kind of questions as well. So let us see a different question, which is quite interesting question, and this is a conceptually rich question. So I would suggest you guys to pay your 100% of concentration in this question. Okay, so let me explain the question. What is the diagram about? So it was initially a spherical conductor with radius r. Now somehow we cut out a cavity. This is a cavity with radius RA, and another cavity is also cut out with radius RB. Okay, and somehow we put a charge QA plus QA at the center of cavity with radius RA, and a plus charge with magnitude QB at the center of cavity with radius RB. Okay. So the question is, first part, find the surface charge density of all 3 surfaces. We have 3 surfaces. One in the cavity of radius RA, another in the cavity of radius RB, and the third surface itself, the surface of this sphere. So sigma A is the surface charge density of the cavity with radius RA would become equal to minus QA divided by 4 pi RA square. Okay, This minus why this minus qa came here, because we have put a plus qa charge at the center, and by induction we know a minus qa charge will generate on the interior of the cavity. Okay, this is not q bar, this is minus q. Let me erase this to avoid any confusion. Okay, similarly sigma b is equal to minus qb divided by 4 pi rb square. Okay, and the third one sigma r is, okay, initially the conductor had zero charge, but now a minus q is induced here, a minus qb is induced here, minus qb. Okay, let me rewrite this in different way. Minus qb is induced here, so a plus qa and a plus qb should induced on the outer side of the conductor. So sigma r should be qa plus qb divided by 4 pi r squared. These are the values of sigma for three different surfaces. Okay, so second part, B part of the question is, what is the field outside the conductor? Net field outside the conductor. So if you draw a Gaussian surface, something like this, a Gaussian surface, containing the complete sphere, then you can see closed surface integral E dot dA is equal to Q enclosed divided by epsilon naught, and Q enclosed is QA plus QB, QA plus QB, as this plus QA and minus QA will cancel, this plus QB and minus QB will cancel, so we will be left with the plus QA plus QB total charge. Okay, so divided by epsilon naught. So you can easily calculate E is equal to this dA after integral will get 4 pi r square, and we can divide that 4 pi r square from the right side, and you will get QA plus QB divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This is the electric field outside the conductor. C part, what is the field within each cavity? Okay, so here you have cavity. You can again draw the Gaussian surface inside each cavity, and you will easily solve and get electric field inside cavity A is QA divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, where r is less than a, r is less than RA, because we are talking about inside, and for another cavity EB would become equal to QB divided by 4 pi epsilon naught RB squared, RB nahi, R squared, where R is less than RB, R square. Okay, so the D part is saying what is the force between QA and QB. Okay, this is between this is between QA and QB. What is the force between QA and QB? You can see from the diagram that this QA and QB are separated by conductor region. This is a conductor region, and inside conductor region there is no electric field. So the electric field due to QA could not reach QB, and electric field due to QB could not reach QA. So whenever there is no electric field between two charges, so the force would become equal to 0, as the electric field of QA cannot reach QB, and the electric field of QB cannot reach QA. Okay, so this question was conceptually rich question, and you must have learned so many concepts from this question. Let us move further, and it was a question asked in JAM 2017, and this is important question. And what the question says: in a coaxial cable, the radius of the inner conductor is 2 mm and that of the outer one is 5 mm. The inner conductor is at potential 10 volt while the outer conductor is grounded. That means potential is 0 for the outer conductor. The value of potential at a distance of 3.5 mm is asked in the question. Okay, and how you can solve this question? You can solve this question by using Laplace equation. Why I have used Laplace equation? Because you know there is nothing in between uh, these coaxial cables. So charge density rho is 0 inside the coaxial cables, and we can use Laplace equation whenever the charge density is 0 in that region. So what does Laplace equation says? Del square of V must be equal to 0 because charge density rho is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a symmetrical case. This is a polar symmetric case. In this case we can use del square for polar case, and that is nothing but 1 over r square del over del r of r del over del r of v, plus we have two more terms which contains theta and phi. But due to the symmetry of this question, we can say potential will not depend on theta and phi because the system is symmetric. It should not be dependent on theta and phi. Okay. So other two parts are 0 and 0, theta and z. Okay, theta and z. So and RHS is itself 0. For this equation, RHS is itself 0. So you can solve this question, this differential equation, and you will get del over del r of r del v over del r is equal to 0. That means this quantity must be constant. So r del v over del r must be equal to some constant c. You can integrate this quantity and you will get dv is equal to c dr over r. After integrating, you will get I am writing here v is equal to some c ln r. You will get a logarithmic function. Okay. You will get some logarithmic function. So v would become equal to log of r c times plus some another constant d. Okay. So we have some initial conditions in this question, and the conditions are uh, at r is equal to 5 mm we have zero potential. Grounded means zero potential. So potential is 0 for r is equal to 5 ln of 5 plus d. This is equation 2. And the second condition is potential is 10 volt for r equal to 2 mm. So potential is 10 volt for r is equal to 2 mm ln 2 plus d. This is equation 3. Now you can see equation 2 and 3, and equation 2 and 3 have two variables c and d, and we have two linear equations between them. So you can easily solve two equations with two variables and you can get c and d. You can easily find c and d. So after having find c and d, you can put these values in equation 1, and now c is known, d is known, and you have v as a function of r. And you have been asked to calculate potential for r is equal to 3.5 mm. So you can now easily put r is equal to 3.5 mm and you will get potential for that particular radius. And I am telling you the answer. The answer is v is equal to 3.89. You can easily put the values and calculate, and you can put the answer here. So this was the question asked in JAM 2017. They will probably ask this kind of questions. So you have to practice as many questions as you can. Dear students, you can subscribe to Oduncle for IIT JAM, CSIR NET and UGC NET exams study material, which is prepared by India's top experienced faculties. You can also download Eduncle's mobile application where more than 250 tutors will be answering your doubts. Thank you.